am getting ready to add some embroidery to this poncho that I made in my previous video. I noticed I had some discoloration where the fabric was on the bolt, and that stripe was pretty noticeable on both sides. So I have prepped this by ironing on some fusible interfacing to the back to prevent a lot of stretch while I'm embroidering. And then also I added some washi tape here in a straight line so that as I go and do my embroidery hoop by hoop, I can try and keep it lined up. I've also printed out my design that I'm going to do, and I've been playing around with placement of it, and I figured that I could have just enough room on either side to do two of these this way, and then I'll flip it and do it the other way until I get to the collar here. So I did the same thing on this side and then on the other side. So next I'm going to do my first hooping, and I'm going to use a couple of things here. I'm going to use my new magnets and also water-soluble wash-away stabilizer for embroidery. And I'm doing this on the top just to, because of this being sort of stretchy, I want to try and prevent the material from stretching too much. I am going to start at the bottom. Normally when I sew knits, I like to start from the bottom and work up anyway, because I find there's less puckering in the seams. It just seems to lay flatter. I don't know if it matters for this, but that's my habit, and I'm just going to keep it consistent. So I am going to hoop here. I'm feeling here and here. It looks pretty okay. And now I'm going to use these magnets. So this will be the first time I'm using the magnets. Let you know how I like them. So I'm at my machine and I'm getting ready to set up for embroidery. I have my unit attached. I have the USB drive that has my design in it, and I am going to go, oops, I'm going to press this right here. See if you can see that. The two machines, that puts you in embroidery mode. This part is really important if you want to find your file on there. You have to be in embroidery mode. And then open the folder, and I'm going to touch my USB drive, and I see one of my two on here. And that is because they're paged by hoop. And I think that's the default view. And so a couple of things. So if I want to see my bigger design, I have to hit this little next arrow button. And there is my bigger design for my bigger hoop. So a lot of times, folks who download a design from the internet, they mistakenly think it can't be any larger than the smallest hoop, and that is because this little button right here, it's actually the larger designs are on the next page. So there's a little tip there. I have a couple of bobbins ready to go, and now I'm going to change my bobbin case, my needle, and my presser foot. Also, I'm going to need to change my bobbin case from this one to the yellow dot one, And while I have this open, I'm going to just give it a little brushing. Ew, that's dusty. Okay. Just had to snip my thread here. It looks like it's going okay. So what I did is I unhooked it. I put in tearaway stabilizer on the back. And it seems to be liking it better. Okay, so one little tip here. I like to conserve stabilizer because you can go through a lot, especially when you're doing border work and stuff. So I'm making a embroidery window here. This is where I tore out the embroidery that I just finished, and I totally want to use this again. It fits in the hoop, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down another piece. So all I have to do is just replace this middle section, and I don't have to waste the whole piece. I use this fabric glue stick, and I have not had any issues with it gumming up my machine. Let's look. I finished this first hoop, and guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to take out the washi tape before I started sewing. The washi tape was there for me to line up my embroidery, and then once I lined it up, I should have taken it off. So now I'm going to have to get in here and pull some of that out, but I'm on to the next hoop. Okay, I'm rolling along, and this is the second hoop. I changed a few things from the first. I am now floating it on top of the hoop with the stabilizer. The tearaway stabilizer is actually in the hoop, and I'm floating the garment on top. I'm using the magnets to try and keep it taut. I am adding a few pins in the area that is not going to be stitched, just to give it some extra, I don't know, tautness, but it's tricky, and I couldn't tell as far as quality of stitching goes that it was making that big of a difference. And here I'm actually adding a small design down on the end, like towards the edges, just to kind of fill in some space with that smaller design. And one tip here, I actually started with the second color first on this design, and I did that by touching the red page forward arrow, and that switched me to the next color. And I did that because I already had the silver second color in threaded, and so it finished worked out. Of the garment, and I'm going to do the same area on the other side of the poncho. And I think I'm gonna mirror this design. So at the machine, to do that, what you do is you go into edit mode, and then you scroll until you find this little thing that looks like a hamburger. And so this is going to flip or mirror. This way goes up and down, and this way goes side to side. So I'm going to mirror this way. And there you go. I think I'm also going to take this. I did reduce the other one, so I'm going to put it back at 100%. Oh, I forgot. I need to raise it. And then go 100%. Okay, it's not letting me do it because I'm not up far enough. Get it maybe a little more centered in the hoop. Now, okay, so now it's 100%. And it's mirrored, and I'm ready to start sewing. All done. So here is the embroidery that I did over that discoloration. You can barely see it. It's still there, but and also the other mistake where I left the washi tape. Now I'm gonna have to do some picking on this one, but overall, the rest of it I think looks pretty good. I added this to the corners. So I have this on all four corners. That is sort of a cream and silver. This is in silvery, this is in cream. These kind of look like that dried money plant to me. All right, so this is the kind of square poncho way. I'm gonna turn it around so you can see the poncho style. So here it is, poncho style. It's a little, I guess, asymmetrical then on one side, where this would be the sort of the top of the shoulder, wearing it that way, but then I still have the four corners, which I really like the way that is. And now I'm debating on whether I should do another couple of strips over that way, or unless I just kind of like it asymmetrical. But all right, well, here it is. So I hope you liked this project, and feel free to leave comments, ask questions, suggestions for future content. And if you like this, please add a thumbs up. It helps my rank on YouTube. And subscribe to my channel. If you hit the bell button, you'll get notified when I add new content.